Hey there, I'm Professor Tech, and today we're learning how screen resolutions work, how they're marketed, and what it all really means. To begin, screen resolution refers to the number of pixels that a display can show. Pixels are tiny dots of light that make up the images we see on our screens, generally composed of three color elements in the form of red, green, and blue, or RGB for short. Some displays also feature yellow light as a part of each pixel that adds additional color fidelity, but this isn't standardized and isn't immensely common. But in short, the more pixels a screen has, the clearer and more detailed the images will be. There are two common measures of screen resolution: pixels per inch, or PPI, and pixels per centimeter, or PPCM. PPI and PPCM are measures of how densely packed pixels are, and the more densely packed they are, the clearer the image tends to be. The PPI of a screen is directly related to the size of a screen. A larger screen with the same PPI as a smaller screen will have exponentially more pixels overall, as the screen has more square inches, or more square centimeters if you're using PPCM. So, when you're buying a phone and it says it has a 4K resolution and you buy a 50-inch TV and it also has a 4K resolution, the phone will actually appear clearer at a much closer distance than the TV will. However, viewing distance and market resolutions aren't always talked about because 4K is more of a marketing term and it doesn't actually tell the consumer a lot about the pixels per inch. But on the topic of market resolutions, there are several standard screen resolutions, the most common of which is 1080p, also known as Full HD. This resolution is 1920 by 1080 pixels and it's the standard for most higher definition displays. Another common resolution is 720p, also known as regular HD. This resolution is 1280 by 720 pixels and is commonly used for smaller displays and devices such as smartphones, the Nintendo Switch, and even the Steam Deck. This is because at a small enough size, because the pixels are per inch, you don't really need a high resolution because at a regular viewing distance, the human eye won't be able to make any distinction between the two. So next time you're buying a phone and 4K or 5K is one of the features, keep in mind that your eyes won't actually have any perceptible difference and it will only be in your mind. And your battery actually will drain faster due to all the extra power needed to power those basically useless pixels. But in recent years, there has been a push towards higher resolutions like 4K, Ultra HD, etc. And that's because 4K resolution is 3840 by 2160 pixels, and it's increasingly becoming the standard in high-end TVs and monitors, with 8K resolution or 7680 by 4320 pixels coming in behind. And it's actually the current highest resolution display available in consumer electronics, although creatives and some specialty fields will create even higher resolution displays by linking several 4K displays together, but for 99.99% of us, that really isn't applicable. PPI of a screen is also related to the viewing distance. As a general rule, the closer you are to a screen, the higher the PPI should be in order to ensure a clear and detailed image. For example, if you are watching a TV from a distance of 6 feet or more, a 1080p resolution may be sufficient. However, if you're sitting closer to the TV, a higher resolution such as 4K may be necessary to ensure a clear and detailed image. This is why many tech enthusiasts often refer to 4K as sort of the golden size, and that's because it's sharp enough for most computer monitors and TVs viewed at normal viewing distances to have imperceptible pixels, but not so high a resolution that it takes nominally more power and computing resources to display. When shopping for a new screen or a device, it's really important to consider the screen resolution. Higher resolution screens are generally more expensive, but they offer a better viewing experience. However, it's also important to consider the size of the screen and how you will be using it. For example, if you are using a device for reading or working on documents, a higher resolution may not be that important as it would be for, say, playing movies or playing video games. In addition to screen resolution, there are other factors to consider when shopping for a new screen or a device. These can also include things like refresh rate, which is the number of times per second that the image on the screen is refreshed, the aspect ratio, which is the ratio of the width to the height of the screen, most commonly 16:9 in modern consumer hardware, and the color gamut, which determines how many different colors can be replicated, often marketed using various terms such as HDR or high dynamic range classifications. A higher refresh rate can improve the smoothness of fast-moving images, such as in video games and action movies. A wider aspect ratio can provide a more immersive viewing experience, but may also result in black bars at the top and bottom of the screen when watching content that's not formatted for a wider aspect ratio. And HDR displays will generally provide more vivid and realistic colors, so long as the content was produced using HDR cameras and technology to begin with. Screen resolution is an important factor to consider when shopping for a new screen or a device. A higher resolution generally means clearer and more detailed images, but it's also important to consider the size of the screen, the viewing distance, and other factors. By considering all of this, you can choose the best screen for your needs and your budget, especially in today's economic conditions. Overkill, at least in screens, is extremely overrated. I hope you liked this video. Make sure to let me know what topics you'd like me to cover and simplify. I'm Professor Tech, this is Tech Simple, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.